Is Carson Wentz done? He certainly is for this season. Much more on the Vikings quarterback getting injured, plus baseball history made about 6 hours ago. Hot Mike starts now.
Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the Are We Awake edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning everybody in Sioux Falls, KMBN in Rapid City, and Inforum.com. Happy Tuesday, October the 28th. For some of us, we got to see the start of it, a good portion of it already. And for those that didn't stay up, well, you missed a doozy last night. We're all a little blurry-eyed this morning, at least those that decided to stay up and watch some baseball history last night this morning between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays as the game went on and on and on, which we'll show you in just a second. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our show here on a rainy Tuesday. We got a lot to get to today. We chatted about it certainly on Friday's show after the Vikings defeat to the Chargers and the emotion that Carson Wentz displayed after he was taken out of the game, certainly during the game, and the Vikings beat down loss by Los Angeles. And now we know the extent of how badly he was hurt. And frankly, it's opened up a can of worms of questions regarding the Vikings staff, medical staff, regarding the head coach, and frankly, as I said on the show Friday, and I reiterated yesterday, the future of Carson Wentz and him playing football. We're going to get to that coming up in just a little bit as well. We'll also talk some hoops. This is going to be our usual time slot going forward with Bison men's basketball. Coach Dave Richman will join us each and every Tuesday throughout the season. Coming up at 10 o'clock, the Bison have their opener a week from yesterday. NDSU plays Oregon State to open up the season. They'll play Oregon State, then go and take on UC Davis, play a couple games out on the West Coast before they come home and have 4 straight at home, and then we won't see him again for a bit. That is life as a mid-major, but we'll have Dave coming up at 10 o'clock. And, of course, it's Tuesday. Steve Laqua will join us as well. If you missed it, we showed the highlights of a wild game on Saturday night between the Dragons and Northern State. Tough loss for MSU. They got 3 games to go, and to see how this year could finish out. We'll talk with Steve about that. And the decision, frankly, to go for 2 coming up at 10:30 to recap that game. All right. We could have showed about 8 minutes worth of highlights. I pared it down to about 4.5 from the game last night in L.A. between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. And just this is a backdrop before we show you what happened, and especially if you didn't make it past the 9th through the 11th, through the 13th, through the 15th, to the 18th inning, there's going to be, I'm sure, outcry, well, why don't they just do the ghost runner thing like they do during the regular season? And I would tell you that this is what manifests because we don't have it in the regular season. Teams aren't used to manufacturing runs because in the regular season, when we go to the 10th inning, we've already got a runner at second base. All you basically need is a hit to the outfield, and the game is over. And guys, frankly, don't even know how to sacrifice anymore, which is a whole other issue, but there's just no need for it in the regular season. So when you get to the postseason and you don't have a runner on base to start the inning, you have to manufacture a run. It becomes awfully difficult. And granted, the pitching was excellent last night, but the inability to get a runner home from second or a runner home from third with less than 2 outs was less than satisfactory. And, of course, the game ended up being decided on a home run because that's how baseball players go up and try and do it every time at the plate. This guy can do it pretty much every time at the plate. Shohei Ohtani was a one-man wrecking crew last night. Starts it with a home run in the bottom of the first to give the Dodgers, an early lead. It's 2-0 in the fourth. Alejandro Kirk has been amazing this postseason. 3-run home run for the catcher for Toronto. Off Tyler Glass, now it's 3-2. 4-2 Blue Jays in the bottom of the fifth. Ohtani up again and delivers with an opposite field hit to left center. That's his third extra base hit of the night. That'll bring in Kike Hernandez. It's now 4-3. Dodgers would tie it at 4 in the seventh. Toronto, though, takes the lead. Bo Bichette is back healthy. Look at Vlad flying around the bases. He will beat the throw home barely. Not the best slide in the world, but he's in. Toronto takes a 5-4 lead. This is a clumsy play, but he got in there. So it's 5-4 Blue Jays. It didn't last long. Bottom of the seventh, Ohtani with his fourth extra base hit of the night, his second home run, and the game is tied at 5. He's just a unicorn, folks. Enjoy it. John Schneider, the Blue Jay manager, said, we're done. No, we're not pitching to him. They intentionally walk him in the bottom of the ninth. Not even going to deal with it. So Ohtani up. He's going to try and steal second, but that's a great throw by Kirk. And Ohtani's off the bag, and they got him. Dave Roberts not thrilled. That is a picture-perfect throw, and you can see there, he's off the bag. Roberts not thrilled. So the game goes to extras. We go to the 12th inning. Blue Jays have 2 runners on. Schneider hits a little dribbler here. Initially, they say Max Muncy got his foot on the bag, but you can clearly tell the runner is safe. So the bases are loaded. So Clayton Kershaw comes out of the bullpen with the bases loaded and gets Nathan Lukes to ground out. Look at Tommy Edman just shovel it. And we play on. And we play on. And again, they're not going to pitch to Ohtani. They purposely, intentionally walk him again. We're in the bottom of the 13th. I got to be honest with you, folks. I was sleeping it here. They purposely walk Mookie Betts. So the bases are loaded. Freddie Freeman can be the hero like he was last year with a walk-off grand slam. You could tell, though, he just missed it. Warning track power. And we go to the 14th inning. Bottom of the 14th. Will Smith up. He gets a hold of one. Mary Hart standing up. She thinks it's over. But again, it's warning track power. And we stay. Look at the Dodger fans just went from, yeah, we're going to win. And we can't celebrate. We stay tied at 5. And the game goes on. Again, they walk Ohtani in the 15th. So Freeman comes up again. Dodger fans thinking this is it. We're going to win the game here. In the bottom of the 15th with the runner on. Freeman again laces one. But Dalton Varsho makes another really nice catch. And we stay tied. This guy was like me. Couldn't stay awake. Bottom of the 16th now. Ohtani's back up in the 17th inning. They didn't intentionally walk him, but did. They pitched to him, but there was nothing close. So he walks on 4 pitches. Mookie Betts is up with 2 outs, 2 on, and again, they can't get a runner home. He pops out to Guerrero, and we go to the 18th inning. Even watermelon was being I needed some of that. All right, top of the 18th. The Blue Jays have 2 runners on. Boy, what a great pitch, though, to get out of the inning. Dodgers bullpen was excellent last night. Both teams were. All right, bottom of the 18th. It's 1:50 a.m. Central Time. Freeman is up again. 3-2 count. This time he gets a hold of one. And in the night LA air, it is over the fence and gone for a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 18th. The Dodgers win it 6-5. Freeman, who, of course, won Game 1 of the World Series last year with a walk-off grand slam, wins it with a walk-off home run last night. I don't even remember who started the game. Those guys pitched so long ago. Kirk was the big hitter. Ohtani's stat line, though, is going to be remembered forever. Ohtani goes 4 for 4 officially. drives in 3 runs, hit 2 home runs, and he walked 5 times. He was on base all 9 times last night. That has never happened before in the history of the game. Think about that. Every time he got up, he got on base. Here's more of the stat line. 1 walk, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 intentional walks. And honestly, the other walk was quasi-intentional because there was no way they were going to pitch to him. The game took over 6 hours, 6 hours, 39 minutes officially. And somehow they got to come back and play again tonight in Game 4. And Ohtani's pitching tonight for the Dodgers. I remember the Dodger-Red Sox game that this tweet references in 2018. That was a Friday night game. We actually were going to Vermillion the next day for a Bison, South Dakota football game that I stayed up for that one too. We saw Max Muncy, I believe, hit the game-winning home run there. I was zombie the next day. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not doing great this morning. I could tell I certainly saw the bottom of the 9th. I saw a bit of the 10th. I didn't see any of the 11th, a little bit of the 12th, partial of the 13th. The 14th and 15th innings were donezo. I didn't see any of that. Partially awake for the 16th. Oh, sleep in the 17th. And then I somehow woke up in the 18th and saw the end of the top of the inning and then saw the Freeman home run. So I can't sit here and claim I saw the whole game. I did not. But that was fabulous. And everyone's talking about it this morning because, oh, wow, did you see the game was 2 full games? You know, you could have watched, I think, the entire Godfather 2 twice by the time that game ran, which, by the way, is the best of the Godfather movies. And you still wouldn't have seen the entire baseball game. That's how long it was last night. That's what makes it special. Now, granted, somebody driving a run with a runner on base with runners in scoring position last night left a lot to be desired. The Blue Jays used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitchers. The Dodgers used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, we got to play a game tonight and another game tomorrow. I don't know how. If you're the Blue Jays, that's an awful way to lose. You got to come back somehow and play tonight, and you have to know Ohtani is pitching tonight. Personally, I don't know what I'm more annoyed by with the intentional walk. Like they did this again in baseball a few years ago to speed the game up. They weren't going to have to throw the 4 pitches that the manager could just throw up the 4 symbol and the umpire would know, okay, we're not pitching to this guy. But again, I don't blame John Schneider at all for doing what he did, but eventually it was going to backfire, and it almost did. Frankly, the Dodgers couldn't drive in any runs. Mookie Betts is their number 2 hitter. Couldn't get anybody home. So Game 4 tonight in L.A. Heck of a game. You could have watched the entire Wolves game and not missed anything in the baseball game. There's another, because the Wolves didn't start till 8:30 last night, a Peacock special against the Denver Nuggets, playing without Anthony Edwards. As we found out right before the game, they're going to play without Jalen Clark as well. And again, the Wolves have owned the Nuggets in the regular season. Remember, they beat them all 4 times last year. But without Edwards, this is a different basketball team. There was no defense played in the first half. Julius Randle, a little step-through finish to put Minnesota up by 5. Cameron Johnson, what a feed from Jokic. Jokic was great last night, like he is every night. The lead is 6. It's a 9-point lead for Minnesota, and then Jamal Murray went crazy. Hits a 3 there. Then hits another one. Murray had 23 points alone in the third quarter. Defense, anybody? How about a Terrence Shannon Jr. highlight? Because he's actually playing. Drives to the basket. Denver up 3. It's 102.9. I like that Peacock scoreboard, by the way. That's sweet. Little steal here on a bad pass. Peyton Watson drives and makes the layup. Nuggets are up by 5. Then more Peyton Watson. Who is this guy? Open in again, anybody in the zip code going to play D. Drills a corner 3. Put Denver up by 10. Then he comes and blocks Jaden McDaniel's shot And Jamal Murray is going to finish on the pass from Jokic. Denver comes into Minneapolis and beats the Wolves on the back end of a back-to-back game. 127-114 the final. Jokic's stat line. Here's another ho-hum game for the two-time MVP. 25 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. The Nuggets have played 3 games. He's had 3 triple-doubles to start the season. Jaden McDaniels was awfully good with 25. Randall at 24. But again, Wolves defense not great. The injury news on Ant is not good either. Sham Charania reporting from ESPN that it's going to be at least 2 weeks for Ant out with a hamstring injury. The Wolves officially announced that he'd be evaluated in a week, but you don't want to mess around with hamstring injuries. That's just something we've seen time and time again with different sports, that teams are being awfully careful with that. So the Wolves will be back in action tomorrow night against the Lakers without Luka and without LeBron. That's a game you figure you got to get. So they're going to be down their best player, at least for a little bit, but they got to start playing some defense. That was atrocious last night. We got a packed show coming up for you here on this Tuesday morning. Our guest lineup is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Our guy Mike McFeely will be in studio with us in about 20 minutes. We'll talk to Mike on a variety of topics. I'm not sure what, so I'm not going to tease anything because we never know where we're going to go down the road with him. That's coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, as I mentioned, Dave Richman will join us, North Dakota State men's basketball head coach. The Bison have their opener next Monday night at Oregon State. We'll chat about the exhibition game against the Dragons, rotation decisions, who's playing, who may not be playing. I'm sure Dave will be open book on that. We'll discuss that at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, Dragon head football coach Steve Laqua joins us in his usual Tuesday segment. MSU MLF, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, whatever way you want to describe it, loss to Northern State on Saturday night in overtime. Dragons have 3 games to go. They sit at 5-3 to see where this season will go. Knowing Gage Florence is on the doorstep of an NCAA Division II record. We'll chat with Steve about that and a bunch of other stuff coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Tuesday. We come back. The Carson Wentz injury drama for the Vikings. What they knew and when, when they knew it. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on a Tuesday morning. We're back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tuesday morning show off and rolling. Our guy, Mike McFeely, will join us in about 10 minutes' time. All right, so yesterday afternoon, I'm getting ready to head home for the day, and phone started buzzing. Tweet came out that the Vikings were going to place Carson Wentz on season-ending injured reserve to have his left shoulder need surgery and would be done for the season. And in the following minutes after that, again, phone kept buzzing because there kept coming news on it. And this is the tweet that came from Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network that laid out exactly the injury to Carson Wentz, saying in the first half of the London game, the game against the Cleveland Browns, Wentz suffered a dislocation that tore his labrum and fractured the socket, per the insiders. He gutted out 2.5 more games for the Vikings with a big stabilizing brace, while J.J. McCarthy, with his high ankle sprain, recovered. Now, I went back this morning. We showed the highlight of the injury against the Browns. And for those that forgot or didn't see it, this is the play that it happened on. Carson was scrambling in the second quarter, took a shot from Carson Schweschinger of the Cleveland Browns and went down. That's when he was contemplating going into the medical tent. He actually did right before the half and then came back out for the second half. Watch again this shot. Right there. Went down, and you could tell nearly immediately he was in pain. Right there. That slow-mo replay is probably the best one. That is a collision there. And clearly was in pain, decided to come back out, obviously led the Vikings on a game-winning drive in that game, and proceeded to play after the bye week against the Eagles. And the Chargers. Now, what we know now is clearly he was in agony, and you could tell from the reactions he had in the game Thursday night. Because each time he went, and we didn't even know to the extent until there was the one shot of Wentz coming out of the locker room to start the game with this bionic brace on his left shoulder and left arm that we had not seen in the games prior, certainly the game prior against Philadelphia, and granted it was 4 days later that the Vikings played against the Chargers. But we did show you this on Friday, which was Wentz consistently in pain after making any kind of throw. This one, the tip ball, that you could see immediately he was grabbing for his left arm. Later in the game, when the Vikings had to throw on pretty much every down, and the Chargers knew that, and the Chargers are coming after him, he's getting pounded to the ground here. And we played the audio that Kirk Herbstreit was talking about like, yeah, you got to gut this out, that you can't show this kind of emotion. You're the quarterback, and he was in agony. And to me, there are questions that need answers that when KOC addresses the media tomorrow that have to be front and center. Why in the world was this guy still playing with a fractured left socket in his shoulder and a torn labrum? And obviously, Carson's not going to pull himself out of the game, knowing full well that this might have been his last chance. I said that Friday. I'll reiterate it here this morning. I think he knew in his heart of hearts, obviously he was severely injured, that he couldn't keep on playing. That's why the helmet toss at the end of the game Thursday. To me, it also, I think this is his fifth major surgery he's going to have. Fifth. Going back to the AC, it wasn't just an ACL tear that he had. He tore all three ligaments in his knee in the game against the Rams in 2017, right? He's had back surgery. Okay, those are two major ones to begin with. To go now on top of this one, not even counting the minor touch-ups he's had for his knees over the last couple years, now this, on top of a concussion that I think was more severe than we were led to believe, that he suffered in the playoff game in 2019, and now, here we go, you have major arm surgery that you're going to be out for a bit. The torn labrum is exactly what Cole Payton suffered on an almost exact same hit against South Dakota State last year. And Payton was sidelined for 5 months. And he was technically 100% by the time spring ball came around in April. But that was a full, 6 months removed from the injury? So you're left with that. And that they had no belief in Max Brosmer could come in and play a game at all. That basically they left Carson Wentz to be the sacrificial lamb, punching bag, you name it, whatever adjective you want to describe it, for the last 3 games. Because he played the Steelers game, the Bengals game, he was fine. Steelers game, he took a shot there, you remember. Was a little slow to get up, but certainly got hurt in the Browns game, right? So he played the last half of that game with that injury, because that happened in the second quarter. Then they have the bye week. Then play the Eagles, and he got the you-know-what beat out of him in that game, and he had some questionable plays in that game. And then what happened Thursday night? To me, it just screams like, what are we doing? Like the Vikings had no confidence in Brosmer whatsoever, and I get it. Carson's not going to willingly go to KOC and pull himself out of the game. But you're the head coach. And I know what O'Connell said, and we played the sound after the game on Thursday night of the Friday morning show, that doctor said he wasn't going to make himself any worse, that Carson said he was okay. You are seeing this. You've got to make a call and say, you know what? Thanks. Enough is enough. You've gutted this out. We're going to turn the keys over to Max. If you knew McCarthy was going to be ready for the Lions game to say, all right, Carson, the game is lost. Because, they were down 3 touchdowns early in the third quarter on Thursday night, to say, you know what? Okay, we appreciate it. Your toughness, you've proven that beyond measure. time to let the kid go in there and you sit out the rest of this. But that didn't happen. And for a guy that preached himself on culture and players that can come in and talk to him, this was reminiscent of the Zimmer era. Get out there and play. Tough it out. That to me was, now knowing what we know, just it begs the questions of what are we doing here? Like, this is what we're at in 2025 to let this guy roll out and play even though he's got half an arm? That was tough to watch. There's no doubt about it. So now obviously it's J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer are the guys. The Vikes are going to have to go add another body because clearly they need them. They need 3 quarterbacks going forward, and we'll probably hear today or tomorrow of the addition that the Vikings sign. I'll say this. I don't think Carson Wentz needed to prove his toughness to anybody up here that's seen him play. Did he show another level of toughness that maybe people around the league doubted that he had? Sure. But to a certain extent, this was egregious, at least in my opinion. I don't know what that was to be gained out of him rolling out there in the second half. If you couldn't have Brosmer come out there and say, hey, we're going to dink and dunk it, we'll take what we can get, and let's just get out of here and get ready for the Lions in 10 days' time. But they decided they didn't do that, knowing full well their starting left tackle pulled himself out of the game. They were out there starting right tackle in the game. It just begs the question of what are we doing here? And I think some real interesting questions coming Kevin O'Connell's way tomorrow. There were a few tweets, too, by members of the media in the Twin Cities I had issues with on this about, the Vikes. Since people are oddly focused on the wrong thing with Wentz shoulder gate. Carson Wentz equals grown adult football player. He wanted to play. He doesn't get many chances to start anymore. He was in the arena, and he didn't want to leave the arena. His emotions said as much. Wentz exhibited the attitude most NFL players do when dealing with pain, a warrior's mentality. The real question is, why did Kevin O'Connell prefer to play a clearly decimated Wentz over a medically cleared J.J. McCarthy or a 100% healthy Max Brosmer? Is there no for dummies version of the offense that can be deployed for inexperienced quarterbacks? When you're down 3 touchdowns late, you can't send Max out there to hand off. I agree with the bottom part of that. The top part, I mean, do we need to know about football players being tough? I think that is secondhand on that. But the bottom part of that, I completely agree with. And that's the first question, maybe not the second question to O'Connell tomorrow. Like, why wasn't Brosmer put in the game? Because the conspiracy theorists are out there saying they didn't want Brosmer to go out there and succeed and look good because then what do they do with McCarthy? Which I think we're getting a bit conspiracy theorist there, but again, the question has to be asked, and hopefully it will tomorrow. All right, we're over for a break. We'll get caught up here. We'll come back. I'm sure our guy Mike will want to tackle that. We'll talk to him about that and a bunch more, including from what happened Saturday night in Brookings as well. That's coming up on the other side of the break. We're back right after this.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Yeah. All right, let's do some broadcasting with our guy, Mike McFeely, who joins us each and every Tuesday at 9:35. Our viewers love you on the show. I've already got a couple emails saved, but I want to tee off you.
I love me too, so it's good.
With your column on Friday after the Viking debacle in L.A., I believe you used the term cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder, which I don't know if people know what that means in 2025, but back in the olden times, like, you're a Revolutionary War guy, right?
I am a guy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Ken Bird's got a new special coming next month.
You're a big George Washington guy.
He's the dude, yeah.
Whatever. And your argument is, well, somebody had to be the first. Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, but it was going to be somebody.
He was the tallest guy in the room.
Yeah,
Pick him.
It could have been Jimmy Shimtree from Vermont. Could have been.
They're taking any Vermont guys. Come on.
The state of Shimtree. But cannon fodder was. That was the guys that they would send into battle and just knowing that they were
going to make it.
They were going to make it. That they were just going to take up bullets and allow the guys behind them to advance forward. And so Carson Wentz
he was designated that.
He was designated that by Kevin O'Connell apparently. And after the news came out yesterday about Wentz had broken his shoulder.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, let's just stop for a second. He broke his shoulder against the Browns and then played for 2.5 more games. And we all knew something was wrong. And he said, my shoulder's not, we didn't know it was a broken shoulder and a torn labrum. Okay. He played for 2.5 games with the knowledge of the medical staff and the coaching staff. And as you said before I came in here, the head coach just kept putting him back in the game. And I look back at my column after we read or learned the news yesterday about Wentz's injury, and it's like I'm Nostradamus.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like,
yes.
but when you're watching the game, you're going, like, what are they doing?
Yep.
Like Carson
was grabbing his arm after every throw Thursday night.
The previous, like the Eagles game, he kind of went, he's clearly not healthy, but okay. I mean, maybe it's just sore.
Yep.
He's
got hit in the wrong spot.
Right.
Yep.
Right. I mean, on Thursday, like late in the first half, you're going, "Oh my goodness gracious, is he in pain?"
Yep.
And he just kept getting killed back there. And I'm sitting there watching the game Thursday, going, "Just take him out of the game."
Yes.
Like after the first drive of the third quarter,
Right, it was 21 or 28-3 at that point.
The game's over.
Is lost.
And he's just obviously suffering in pain. And I'm just going, "They'll take him out." Well, okay, they're going to take him out now. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not okay. They didn't take him out till it was like a minute 50 left in the game.
And after he had already thrown his helmet in
right.
disgust and couldn't.
Right, and then what's his face is
Street piled
ripping
on.
him.
Yeah.
Dingbat.
Yeah.
Were you watching the game, Kirk? Like, were you watching what was happening?
He's not supposed to show emotion there.
No, he's got to be a leader.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Well, okay. Yep. So anyway, O'Connell's excuse was, well, he kept saying he was okay to go back in the game.
And the doctor said it was okay. He wasn't going to hurt himself any worse.
Was it Dr. Feelgood or something here? Is it like JFK's doctor or Jimmy Page's doctor? I mean, like whose doctor was it? Dr. Sis Boom Bar? Hey, yeah, he's okay. Whatever, man, he's okay. Carson, are you okay? Yeah, it sounds like he's okay.
Yeah,
yep.
the question tomorrow.
And let's make this clear, and I've told this to other. I'm not necessarily a Carson Wentz fan.
No.
I'm just not. And there's clearly been some issues in his NFL career before this with his personality and whatever else was going on in Philly and in Indianapolis. Those teams couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Correct.
So there's clearly something going on.
Washington too, actually, at the end too. Yep.
But I mean, Thursday I'm looking at the TV going, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel just
exactly.
bad for him as a human.
Well, and I thought too, I think part of this, maybe in the back of his mind, maybe this is it. This is his fifth major surgery.
That's what I wrote in my column is, like, O'Connell said, O'Connell put it on Wentz as to why he didn't come out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, O'Connell didn't say, my decision.
It's the head coach. You're the head coach.
O'Connell put it on Wentz and said, well, I kept asking him if he was okay, and he kept saying yes. What do you expect him to say?
Correct.
Like, I mean, there's a 32-year-old guy who's on his 6th team in 6 years. He came back specifically to have one last chance, knowing he might get a chance to play at some point. Like, what's he going to say?
Right.
Like,
Anthony Richardson got pilloried last year for taking himself out of the game.
Well, as he should have.
But he's not come back.
That wasn't an injury, though. That was, I'm not playing well, so take me out. But I mean, even and then, okay, let's take it the next step. The Savior franchise.
Yeah,
I'm not doubting that he was injured. I'm not doubting that a high ankle sprain is a bad deal. That's a 6 or 7 week deal. But he was cleared to play, and he didn't want to apparently play.
Nope, he was the third string guy.
Like where was and maybe those discussions happened. I don't know. I mean, maybe he told O'Connell, "No, I'm ready to go. Let's do this." And O'Connell said, "No, we're gonna turn Carson Wentz into the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, and he's gonna pick up his left arm and stumble through the I mean,
Yeah.
I mean it's just to me that's like
Yeah.
not only medical malpractice,
That's coaching malpractice.
It brings into question a whole ton of stuff. We're not even talking about. I mean, the concussion stuff.
Yep.
They have a protocol for all that. You can live with a bad shoulder. I live with a bad shoulder. Had it injured 30 years ago. Had surgery. It's never quite been right. You deal with it. It's not a big deal. I'm not comparing my situation to Carson Wentz's. He can live with the bad shoulder. But when you know the details, it's not like it was in the game and you're going, well, boy, my shoulder really hurts. He had a broken shoulder
for 2 weeks
and a torn labrum.
Yep.
Well, it's his non-throwing shoulder. Okay.
Jeez.
Well, he said he was okay. Okay.
No, why wasn't Brosmer put in the game either? They had no confidence in just to have him hand the ball off for
they didn't want him to. No, they didn't want him to. Either he is this
so incompetent that he can't do it.
This conspiracy theory that I saw and that you brought up, like that he's going to be better.
Right.
No,
I think that's preposterous as well, but it's out there.
It's either he's so bad that they can't put him in, and that's. I mean, he's an undrafted rookie free agent.
Yes.
Who has zero experience. So the idea that he is somehow better than J.J. McCarthy because he played for 1 year with the Gophers and led them to 9 wins. That's why Minnesota sports fans love Max. If Max Brosmer was from Central Michigan, they wouldn't give a rat's patootie about Max Brosmer. But he played a year for the Gophers, so he must be awesome. It's all so stupid. It's all so dumb, which is why I wore this shirt today.
You're surrounded by idiots.
Again, among my collection I'm surrounded by idiots T-shirts. That's why I wore it today. And so the other Brosmer, they didn't want him to get the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
And they didn't want him to lose confidence because they figured maybe there's something there. I'll give them that, right? Maybe there's something there. Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer.
Yes.
You know? And so he's going to turn Max Brosmer into Aaron Rodgers. Okay, that's fine. But they didn't want him to get the living daylights beat out of him.
Like Carson did.
And so his confidence was shot. Or to get hurt, by the way, because the Vikings offensive line is so awful.
It's bad.
Because of injuries in part. And their defense sucks. And they can't get off the field.
Over. Yep.
I mean, the genius defensive coordinator that, how are they this year?
The guys running free and
they suck. Their general manager we're built to win this year. We're built to win this year. Are you?
Are
you?
I don't think so.
How's your draft choices gone the last 3 or 4 years, Kwesi? Have you drafted anybody worth a crap? Have they? Have they drafted one player worth a crap?
Jordan Addison?
Okay.
I give you Jordan Addison probably.
And how's his character?
Not great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Has he been on the field? Why has he missed so many games? Because his head is made of granite?
Bad choices.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Other than that?
So and so
not great.
You're going to build a franchise on free agent signings, which is fine. But when you sign a bunch of guys who are 32 years old and have a history of injuries and then go, we're built to win today. I guess you're not.
No. And now it's on the kid now who's had 8 quarters of play and 7 of them have been bad.
Get in there, kid.
Good luck.
Yep. Whisper at him. Whisper a lot.
Sign that offensive
Whisper a lot,
line,
KOC, because he ain't got Wentz to throw into the meat grinder anymore for 2.5 games.
All right, let's break. We come back. We'll talk with Mike about what we saw down in Brookings and look ahead the final 4 weeks of the year for the Bison, the Jackrabbits. Who else is potentially in the mix? I know Mike wrote about that yesterday. We'll discuss that. We come back right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. We got a bunch of emails here. I don't know. Let's go. This is 2 things for Mike. One, regarding your Wentz article. Watching that beating, I said to my wife, it reminds me of Archie Manning getting sacked 11 times for 101 yards lost in 1984.
Whoever that viewer is, I was thinking the same thing because I watched that game in 84, and it wasn't as bad as that. Like Archie Manning,
it's my grandpa's favorite player.
Oh my God!
Archie
But
Manning.
it was. I was thinking the same thing.
This wasn't the Bears defense we saw on Thursday, but Wentz was still a rag doll. I can't necessarily argue with the decision. If someone's going to take the beating, it wasn't going to be JJ or Brosmer like you just mentioned. Number 2, where do you rank that Jacks defense among those the Bison have played this season? What I saw on Saturday was among the worst, And it isn't like NDSU did anything particularly unique or inspired. They did exactly what we've seen all year, and the Jacks had no answers.
Yeah, let's use that to launch into Saturday night a little bit if you want. But I thought there was going to be more from SDSU's defense. The offense was going to struggle, even with Chase Mason at quarterback. It was going to struggle against NDSU's defense because it struggled against everybody this year. The defense, though, is where I went, whoa, okay, this is not the same outfit. I still think the Jacks' defensive line is okay.
Yeah.
The big kid in the middle, Colby.
I
just totally blanked
I know,
out.
so did I. Claiborne. Kobe Claiborne.
Good player,
Yep.
real good player. I mean,
Yes.
he was making a difference. He was making
It's a first-team Valley pick, yes.
But boy, I just didn't think they were anything like they were in the past.
No, they were getting blown off the line.
I was getting was in a couple text exchanges, just kind of poking around with some guys whose opinion I respect about the game, and they kept telling me, SDSU's defense did a pretty good job. I'm going, well, in the first quarter, in the first half, when the game mattered,
they were not good.
I mean, watch those first three drives.
Yep.
I mean, NDSU's offensive line was blowing them 3 yards off the ball, and Barika Penu and DJ Scott had holes.
Yes.
Things tightened up then in the second half. In one case, because NDSU got pinned with the punt, but then after that, it's like NDSU wasn't necessarily trying to.
They
do
went off the
anything.
gas in the second half.
Yeah,
the Bison did. Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep in mind for all you Jackrabbit apologists out there who are thinking that like Chase Mason would have been this savior. I mean,
that's what I asked on the show yesterday. How many points is he good for?
Mean, but even if he is good, and it was 31-7 at halftime, and NDSU used like 10% of its playbook.
Yep.
I mean,
correct.
There's a lot of stuff that they, I'm sure, had in.
Right.
It was like the 21 title game against Montana State.
Yeah.
NDSU in that game came out and played so well that Tyler Roll told me this directly into my ears. He said, we used about 15% or less of our play. He said, we had all kinds of stuff ready for the second half that we didn't need to use or want to use because of the situation.
I was surprised. Let me ask you what the Jackrabbit offensive philosophy was in the third quarter when they were huddling and running the football. I didn't get to understand that.
I would go back farther than that and say, what was their philosophy for the entire game? And I guess I had the opportunity to ask Dan Jackson after the game. I didn't. But, okay, so they're football coaches, so they know far more than I do or you do or whomever does. If you're watching the film of your offensive line and you're watching the film of NDSU's defensive line against other teams, you're going, that might be a problem for us. Okay?
Yeah.
You also have in a redshirt freshman quarterback who just hasn't played. I'm not blaming the kid. He just hasn't played. He made some good throws, just hasn't played. Doesn't know what he's doing. So if you're the offensive coordinator, like, is it wise to just have him drop back and have 5 and 7 step drops? Or and then after the first couple drives, then maybe you go, whoa, okay, we can't block these guys.
Right, yeah.
So maybe, again, I'm not an expert. I mean, do you move the pocket a little bit? Do you roll him out? Do you give him some quick, sprint outs or give him some options where he doesn't have to like drop 7 steps back and go, oh my God, here comes 3 guys to kill me. So you turn and run the other way.
And lose 14 yards.
Which again, I'm not the kid. It's like what
are you supposed
the
to
kid
do?
was put into a situation that was a no-win situation for him. But part of that, in my opinion, is because he wasn't given a chance.
Yeah.
In some cases, the second half, that was like, we can't drop back and throw, so let's just try to run the ball. I think, and like, okay. I mean, that it was odd, but it was like part of it had to be like, let's just get the
heck out of here. I thought that too.
But it just was just a bad, to me, again, not an expert, but I've seen a million FCS football games. I just didn't think it was a very good plan.
2 other things here before we got to go. Mike and Dom, this SDSU team gives me 2019 vibes with the quarterback injury and the lack of depth all around. Would like to get your guys' thoughts on what the ceiling is for this team. I'll let you go first.
I don't think that it's a lack of depth thing. The quarterback makes a difference because it's the most important position on the field. I get that. But, like, their running backs are average.
Right. There's nothing spectacular there.
Ogroski was really the only receiver that you kind of went, okay, that was a heck of a play.
And then he got hurt.
And then he got hurt. So they don't have any explosive players. They're tight ends. Did you notice them?
Nope.
I mean, it was.
I noticed him Sunday night in the NFL.
It was coincidental that the next night you saw it, and you go, okay, that guy.
Yeah.
Those two guys
were a problem.
Goddard and Kraft. Yeah. Those two guys played for that team that NDSU played on Saturday night.
Yep.
And that's why SDSU was able to catch up and beat them for a couple of years. The team that was on the field Saturday in Brookings, they might end up 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't beating UND and Grand Forks.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm not sure NDSU is going to beat
That's
UND
another question,
yeah. But SDSU ain't beating them in Grand Forks. So I wrote the column today, published it yesterday, but SDSU isn't the second best team in FCS.
No.
I watched some of the games, not all of them.
Who is?
I said Montana State is right now, even though they lost to the Jacks.
Sagarin says that too, correct? That Montana State is second.
They do. I think UND is better than SDSU. I mean, I don't think there's any question. Even with Chase Mason, I think UND is better than SDSU.
The Bison at 11-1, still a top 2 seed in your mind?
They should be.
I would agree with that.
I still think that, and this is people. This is what Lane Kiffin went off on Venables for. But I still think,
which was pretty good, by the way. I enjoyed that.
I still think NDSU is the better team. I think they're the best team in FCS, but they could lose in Grand Forks.
Yep.
And if you want to thrash me, UND fans, go ahead. I just think that there's a difference in personnel there, but. UND is they got it going right now, and I don't think they match up personnel wise at every position or several position groups, but up there I think their coaching staff is going to have a much better plan. And just got to win Saturday first, by the way, too.
You got Youngstown State coming here.
Yep, but they're going to have a much better plan in place than SDSU's coaches did. They have a better quarterback. They have more. Sawyer Seidel is a much better running back than anybody on SDSU's roster. They have a couple of kids that can get open deep.
BJ Flemings looked like he could do that.
They got some kids who can run through the transfer portal, which was, you could see that was Eric Schmidt's number one priority, was to bring in another quarterback, kid from San Diego State, and then to add some speed and athleticism on both offense and defense.
Yep.
So it's it'll be interesting.
Great stuff, bud. Thanks for coming in this morning. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
You are welcome.
Mike McFeely, we'll see him later today. Tim Polisic press conference coming up at 1:30 today. You'll see it here on WDAY+. We'll break. We come back. Start our second hour. We'll talk some hoops. Dave Richman going to join us. Bison men open their season next Monday out west against Oregon State. We'll chat about that. We come back.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
I think just like Dom's outfit, they're not always pretty. Sometimes they're really ugly. But
just been all over Amazon and just about every site looking for these mustard pants.
And my wife will tell you, she must have burned mine.
People actually listen to your show.
They watch.
They watch it.
Yeah.
Play defense in that first half like Dom transitions to you after the game. It's way too long, way too lazy. But
you got all these answers. I'm going to bring you over and have you do our non-conference schedule.
I'd love to. I'd love to go to Grand Canyon,
I would
man.
love.
Hey,
well,
you're
you
doing
come
that
with.
game.
That's not the thing.
I love when you're on Dom. You're so transparent. And I'm like, so two things are happening. That one, people are watching your show, listening.
Yes.
Right? That caught me a little off guard. I'm just being honest.
This show is we welcome you back. Our weekly visits begin with the men's basketball coach at North Dakota State. David Richman joins us on this Tuesday. I got to get used to that now because we've done Wednesdays forever. What do you got going? You got practice or something going Wednesdays? You can't do that anymore? What's the deal?
Well, let's first off, are we advertising the right things? Because you said that we start at 10 and it's now 10:05.
Oh, here we go. Where do you got to go? You got to know where to be. I know.
I got a lot of places.
Oh, do you now? Yeah.
I got a lot of places to be. I can't tell you all the great places I got to be.
Not here? Is that what you're trying to intimate? Is that what you're saying?
No. I mean, I want to help you with your show, your ratings.
No doubt. It's great to see it. We're looking forward to doing another year of this. It's going to be fantastic. I know people really enjoy when you come on, and here we go. You know, you've had a month and a half of practice. I'm sure you're ready. The guys are ready to actually play some games that count now, right?
Yeah, honestly, it's way more than a month and a half. You got the 7 weeks in the summer, you
Yep.
got 4 or 5 weeks in the fall, and then you got these weeks too. And it is crazy. I was just sitting with Todd Phelps too, and we had a staff meeting right before this, and you feel like you have all this time, and then you get down to the end, you're like, oh, like, did we get this in? Did we get that in? But no, it's time. It certainly is, and I think that's the beauty of how we do things. No matter where things are at, it's always about getting better. It's always about us. And yeah, I tell you what, like, I'm tremendously excited. I don't feel like we have a great gauge, 100% of where we're at. Obviously, you play a Big Ten opponent at their place, then you play a Division II school at your place, and I think there is certain things that we can learn from both of those games. So there's some context we can get out of it. That being said, now the real stuff is going to start flying, and I know this. I'm excited to take this group wherever, whenever, compete against whoever, see what we're all about. I think we got a chance to do some special things.
All right, so this is the first year of the 2 exhibition games. Did you like this? Is this a good gauge of where you can take your team to the regular season after doing it now?
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and I have some better context today to it too. Now, obviously, I feel better after we won a game, no matter who it was against. But I also have a better understanding going into it now too. Next year when we do this, like, hopefully we can continue to do it. That I'm big into my faith, Dom. So I am not going to hesitate to ever talk about those things where you look at pride. You look at ego from a Bible standpoint, it's not a healthy thing. Well, my pride, my ego coming out of a couple Thursdays ago at Williams Arena was shook. It was hit because we lost a game. That's not what we're about. But at the end of the day, we didn't lose a game. We lost an exhibition contest, and I need to have that perspective. Like, there has to be a greater picture out there. Not to pass the buck, but Purdue's the #1 team in the country. They go to Kentucky, they get beat, and they're down big, and it's at like there is. I think it's a credit to those coaches for putting an early season product out there. Yeah, for the fans to see it a little bit, but for us coaches to test our group and our guys to see what we're about.
What stood out, I guess, performance wise or player wise from the 2 games to say, okay, I wasn't sure about this in practice, but now we can count on this in the regular season games.
Yeah, it's still such a question that I've gotten quite a bit, and I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if I have just a terrific answer for you. And I think it's just part of it is 2 different spectrums of the teams that we competed against a little bit. Part of it is I think I have some things in my head of what we're all about. And I think that what I have in my head is, we're a pretty good team. But I also know that everybody has approached this as an exhibition too. And so you're just trying to gauge that a little bit. How do I say this? I'll be direct because I always like Max Marley. Max Marley had some habits, let's just call it that, some habits and rhythms from some old places. He's been to multiple places, and I thought the game was really fast for him. I've been very pleased in both times the lights have come on and how he's competed and how he's executed. Has he been perfect? Not even close, but better than anticipated. So that is encouraging. I think the other big thing that I need to have perspective on is you take a Damari Wheeler-Thomas, you take a Riley Massey, you take a Carson Smith, you take a Travion Carson. They've never played Division I basketball before. And so just them being out there and competing and going through some things, and not falling on their face or doing some things like that or crumbling, like those are big. Like we haven't shot free throws very well. That's disappointing. Now, is that the guys that are shooting it, or is that us as a whole? Just plenty of those things that are going to continue to work themselves out.
You had 56 points in the paint in the game against the Dragons. Is that something, a harbinger of things to come? Like this, we can hang our hat on that.
Boy, I'm going to just piss a lot of people in Bison Nation off and all this. Like, Dave Richman and he let the offense play last year and all the jacked up. Like, we're back to just pounding that thing in there, right? I loved it.
I know you did.
I did. And we will make more threes, too, than we did the other night. Mm-hmm. I think you saw that in the second half. We have some guys that, like I said, that are just getting comfortable under the lights and doing those things. But, man, I love it, just, throwing that thing in, not necessarily throwing it in there, but driving it in there, however we get it. And then that creates free throw opportunities. And you look at the identity of this program, right? It is tough / together. And then not / just like that bold line. And that means everything to me. And I think for us to be those things, not just talk about those things, it's It's got to be that. I got a text from Danny Gingandre, who was with us last year, who did all of our stats. He's like, everything okay over there? What's going on? You're plus 12 in the net opportunities, and some of these things he's throwing at me, I don't have a clue what they are. But I was pleased, and again, let me. I've been on this stage and been crucial of Noah Federson. Let me jump on this opportunity and jump all over his performance. 19 and 10, and I think the biggest thing maybe too from that is the confidence that he's built. He was that way yesterday in practice, so now that needs to be. That needs to be a consistent thing. We can't have a Minnesota performance and a Moorhead performance, but hopefully the challenge has been accepted by Fetty, and that was really fun to see.
You mentioned like the advanced stats. Is that something you look at a whole lot? I mean, you're doing this a long time, and I know the game evolves, you evolve. Do you sink your head into the advanced stats a lot or not so much?
Oh, I would definitely say I do it more than I ever have. There's some situational things, there's some analytical things, there's some information, but we have a great staff, but they've also been clearly instructed by myself to give me clear, digestible bullet points. If you throw a bunch of stuff at me and a lot of random numbers with a decimal point followed by a million numbers, like I'm gone. And so Luke Strage has been very good for me that way, bringing him on staff and some of the analytical things. Danny was great last year. James Buchanan has been absolutely terrific for us, and he overcome the adversity of working for Tim Miles for 4 years. But he's been a great addition too. So yeah, I think there is a fine balance, but I do know too, you got to go out and play the games, and you got to block, tackle, you got to not get your penalties, and you got to do those things, and all that's got to correlate. But certainly, I think I'd be naive or shame on me if you're not at least paying attention to how some of those things work out.
I know you came in studio prior to the season started, and I was asking about a couple of guys. Carson Smith, maybe a guy, and I maybe neglected to ask you about, but looks like that the year redshirting certainly benefited. Is this a guy that you've seen blossom that we got to play him? We got to find a way to get him on the floor.
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with where that young man is at. And I thought, I thought he was, pretty good against Minnesota, and then just maybe a little bit hesitant, at home the other night. But he is a guy that, and Carson knows this, like his ceiling isn't he doesn't have this unbelievable ceiling, but from a coach's perspective, if you don't have a couple Carson Smiths on your team, you got no chance to be good. And he's just he's a lunch pail guy. He's a day in and day out. He's going to be in the right spots, and he's going to make the right plays and do the right things. Is he going to go up and dunk all over you or cross you over and double cross and go back? No, he's not going to do those things, but he's found a real niche and playing off the ball with some of the things he's doing. He's just a warrior. I think what you don't see too is this a young man that there's almost no bad days. No bad days. Yeah. And he brings that energy, and it's infectious. And man, I say this I feel I would love to coach a million Carson Smiths, man. That kid is about the right things on and off the court.
One of my favorite guys is Andy Stefanowicz. He had another really good stat line. He had 7 assists, I think, in the game on Thursday. We talked about at the end of last season him starting in the Summit League tournament game against USD. Where have you seen his game take to a next level, and what are you expecting in 25-26 out of him?
Yeah, here's the stats nerd I am. We were doing the other radio show last night, and they said he had seven assists. I didn't even realize that. I think it goes out there where there is, again, I think in terms of growth, comfort is a swear word, right? You don't want to be comfortable, but there is a very secure feeling for me. Let's make this about me, right? Which I do all the time, right? It's all about Dave Richman, but there's a very secure feeling when Andy Stefanowicz has the ball in his hands. And I think the best thing that we talk to our guys, if you can be anything in life, be grateful and always think about others. So be grateful for others. And what happens when Andy is on the court is he is making others around him better. And man, is it just a fun brand of basketball to watch. He's so unselfish. Most guys, you would say that the number of dribbles he has per possession is too many. It's just different with Andy. You just feel it's a little bit of like an old Steve Nash where he's just dribbling, he's got it in, and then all of a sudden, boom, he drops it here and Noah's going up for a dunk. Yeah. Or Markai's cutting and, I'll give some of those other guys credit, man. He's throwing stuff to them and I'm like, oh, they're ready. They played with him long enough. where you better be. He had one yesterday in practice where he swallowed up in the paint, and Max Marley's sitting over in the left corner, and he finds him, and I'm just like, dang, if you're out there with him, you better be ready.
That's a good thing to have. Last thing before we go to break, Mark Strickland told this story. I asked him this in the post game on Thursday
This will be good.
about him coming here and playing. And he said, yeah, I never thought when I was here last year, I took a photo in front of the big bison inside the shack, and now I'm realizing I'm here. It's just kind of crazy. I know we talked about it when you added him to the team, but what kind of player is he, and person that you've added to your team this year?
Well, he's a wonderful person. He's got a selfless personality to him, which is fun. It's been engaging. He's got a great sense of humor, which his teammates really appreciate. On the court, and I said this to him during the game, Thursday. I said, "Has anybody ever told you how good you are?"
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me. He's like, "No." I said, "Well, you and I are going to have some fun this year." And I think that's the good and bad right now with Kai, is I have a vision of him being a dominant force, for us and for within the league. And I don't think he understands that quite yet. And I think that's the last bit for Kai. He is an absolute freak athlete. He can do some things with the ball from a handle wise that is just terrific for his size. How big, strong, physical, athletically he is. He doesn't shoot it great, but he's certainly capable. I've been pleased he's made free throws, but that mentality shift of I'm talented to a mentality shift of I'm talented, I'm going to try to dominate you, is that next step for him. And he can be about those things. And the interesting backdrop, his dad, Mark, played in the league, and he talked about some of his best development when he was in some random communities and there wasn't a whole bunch of other things to do. Now, I'm going to defend Fargo. I love Fargo. I think there's plenty to do. But, this summer, Mark High was in the gym 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning all the time. And those are the things that he needs to embrace, because he's told me he wants to be great. And do you want to be great and go out and party and do all these things? Or do you want to be great and then you're going to work at it? And, that's the shift that we're working with Mark High right now.
All right, let's break. We come back much more with Dave. We'll get ready for the season opener at Oregon State as the Bison are going to head west to open up 2025. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Back on Hot Mic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Dave Richman joining us in his debut edition for the 25-26 season. North Dakota State plays its first game coming up on Monday night. Corvallis, Oregon. Have you been? Is this your first time I know you played Oregon. Have you played Oregon State before?
I've not played Oregon State. No, we played Oregon. I believe we played both of the Portland schools, Portland State. I don't know if we played Portland State. No, I've been to the state. Have not played. We have not played the Beavers. We're actually going to take Todd Phelps with us.
Oh, nice.
Todd, before he came to NDSU, he came from Oregon State. Now, he obviously hasn't been there for 10 years, and I'm sure a lot's changed.
All right, my favorite thing is asking you about scheduling, so I'll ask you, is this the team that actually returned your phone call, Oregon State? How did the game get scheduled here?
Yeah, exactly. I got, a lot of respect for Wayne Tinkley. I mean, he did tremendous things at Montana, and a couple years ago had a great run with the Beavers at Oregon State. And so, yeah, I mean, again, scheduling, there is just so many things that go into it, right? There is dollar amounts needed. The dates need to be hit. And then you tie them in, we're going to circle trip this one from a budget standpoint, circle trips, right? Where we leave, play, travel home, and just some things like that. So, no, we're excited for the opportunity. Very appreciative of it, because, I don't say this hesitantly, there's just people that haven't been interested in playing the Bison lately. So,
I'm looking. I know
this is why we're going to bring Dom Izzo on staff. And
here we go.
His brilliant mind and all the things he can do our scheduling.
I would start with a couple humdingers there. I know, but I don't know.
Hey, is it true that your your buyout reflects what a buyout of Penn State football coach, LSU football coach.
I think my buyout would reflect of how quickly could they get me out the door. It's probably what their buyout is. Like, oh, you know what? You're all set.
I just figured if you have enough money to go out and buy pants like that, like you would have some security, a backing to know that.
I'm wearing gray slacks today. I think they look pretty good. I'm just going to tell you.
That's the problem. You think they look good. What does everybody else think?
Well, we'll put it up for a poll question there. We'll find out. I'm looking at we're discussing this off air. I'm looking at they have 10 international guys, but you don't really know anything about them, right? I mean, they play exhibition games, but this is where we're at in college basketball in 2025, 26. You have no idea until you get out there and play them, right?
Correct. Yeah, like I didn't even know, like you said, that there was 10 international guys. I know James told me they got 6 guys that are over 6'11". No, that to me, like, listen, you got a choice, right? You can whine and be all freaked out about it, or you can embrace it as a challenge, and that's how we have to look at it. We're not going to know much. There's some personnel things. We'll be able to find clips and things like that by different stuff that's online, and I'm sure Tinkle's got a base of what he's done, consistently throughout the years, and we'll have a good pulse of that, but. Those first 8 minutes are going to be interesting, right? And there's going to be a feeling out process of what both teams are about. And to me, we have to look at that as a challenge. We got to be grateful for that challenge, grateful for that opportunity. And but ultimately, like we need to go out and play Bison basketball.
Yeah.
We need to perform Bison basketball. And like I've said countless times to our guys, we need to block, tackle, and not get penalties. And at the end of the day, those fundamentals, those habits, those rhythms of basketball are going to be more important than anything like schematically.
The schedule for the first 5 games, Bison will play at Oregon State, as I mentioned, on Monday. Then a game at UC Davis follows a week from tomorrow. Then you're actually home in November. I don't know how you made that happen with Cal State Northridge and St. Scholastica, and then a biggie with Southern Illinois. That's fun. With Scott Nagy, who coaches SIU, which is a payback game. I know you guys went down there the last couple of years, and I think we may have talked about this, so I apologize if this is repeat stuff, but I'll reiterate. I know I talked about steaming on the broadcast. Anytime a Missouri Valley team is coming to Fargo, put the flag up. That's a big deal, Dave, that you got a Valley
Thanks,
team
Don.
coming up here.
It's a really big deal, and I get it to a certain extent, like when your football team just dominates an Illinois State or they dominate a Southern Illinois, and you kind of correlate the two, but you look at the historic prestige of the Missouri Valley Basketball Conference. It's different than the Missouri Valley Football Conference. It's just the bottom line, and in particular, the opportunity for us to go against a Southern Illinois team is going to be very well coached by Scott. And Southern Illinois has got a lot of history.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of history. They're making Sweet 16, runs of, a few years ago, and in a program that's trying to get back to that too. So no, we're jacked up to have them here, and obviously plenty of opportunities before that. But like this is what we need to get.
Yes.
Like here comes Coach Richman out, right? Like and you'll choose to listen to this however you want, people. But like we need people to come out and get engaged and be behind it. Got a meeting tomorrow morning again. I'm such a huge guy about the student section. I just want to love up and embrace our students because I think they can really ignite the party and engage it. And I'm not hiding behind it, Dom. Like we got a great product. We got fun guys. We got guys that do the right things on and off the court that I think can play basketball, a fun brand of basketball. And it's a crossover season. Yeah, you got a bunch of little things going on, but man, come out and be entertained. We're looking forward to it.
We've seen them make an impact too, Dave, whether it be your team or Jory's team when they've been out there. I'm talking about the students. It's been loud, man. They can be a difference there.
Absolutely. And again, we just have firsthand experience by traveling around and seeing these places and getting a feel for, the kennel at Gonzaga and, GCU and all those things. And like, why? Like, don't tell me like, oh, they're this or they're that. Like, we need to have big dreams, big visions for this, and we need to attack those things.
Last thing, one email comes in. Can you ask Dave if any personnel decisions have been made in terms of guys playing or redshirting? Are you there yet or not yet?
That's so BS. That's not an email.
I got it as well.
No,
I asked you off air.
It's from you, and we've already discussed this off air.
I got it off air. I also got one here too.
Here, I'll just answer it like this. Yes, personnel decisions have been made. Am I going to tell you anymore? No.
I'm sure you're not, yeah.
No, because
well, do guys even redshirt anymore in
Davis
basketball? Do guys even redshirt in basketball anymore though? With the portal now, I mean, guys are gone anyway, right?
Well, and again, this is like I need to be careful, but I don't need to. Like, I'm still ticked about like football. They get
yes, I'm with you there 100%.
Still redshirt, and then
correct.
We're going to have the 5-year thing, and then we're not. Like, why do we hamstring basketball? So
I would. That's a great point. I'm glad because I think Steven and I talked about like 10 games. Would 10 be enough for you to decide a guy can play or not?
Give me 8.
Okay.
Give me 4.
Okay.
Something like and just even don't give me it. Give the kids it. That's what it's about.
Yep.
Give them a taste. Give them an experience for somebody that we're going to redshirt. To give them just a little bit of it. We're supposed to make this about the student athletes, and I don't get it. Like, why do we make things so hard? I'm literally looking at the dome, and they can do it right there.
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
They're an NDSU athletic program,
yes.
to my understanding.
Correct. Last I checked.
Blanketed by the NCAA.
Last I checked, yes.
And we can't. Like, I don't know. I'm probably getting.
See, we came together and agreed at the end here. I like that. So we can end the segment here. We're in agreement on something.
12 years I've been doing this now, and like this is the second or third time we've agreed on something, I think.
That's probably about right. So
yeah, that's probably about right.
Hey, have a great week. Safe travels, and we'll talk next week, okay?
Hey, man, enjoy Halloween with the family, and
Thank you.
everybody be safe. But that's a great thing, man. You got those kids at that fun age, man. Enjoy that.
Good to see you, bud. Thanks for the time.
Hey, brother.
There he goes. Dave Richman joined us each and every Tuesday. He'll be on with us at 10 o'clock. North Dakota State opener at Oregon State next Monday. We'll have the highlights on the show a week from today. We'll break. We come back. Our guy Steve Laqua will join us, recap the Heartstopper at Aberdeen on Saturday night. The Dragons fall to Northern State. We'll break down that when we come back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tuesday morning show rolls on. From one heavy hitter guest to another. We just had Dave Richman on, who obviously thinks he's quite highly of himself, to another of our weekly guests. You're now following Richman. I don't know how you feel about that, Steve Laqua, but we're going to have this as the crossover season is going for the next month. So he sets the table. You're hitting cleanup to wrap up the show.
Well, that's good. You called me a heavy hitter, and I was like, well, my kids are on me about in season. I'm gaining some weight. So I wasn't sure. This new camera that I got today is maybe changed the.
Oh, you look great. We'll see. So we were talking off air, and I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. Just that is got to be, I would ask you, one of the hardest bus drives back after the game Saturday night?
Yeah, I've been a part of a lot of games, a lot of losses over the years. So one of the more difficult ones of my career coaching. I know, I think that first 2 hours, I don't think I heard a word on the bus. And so, which is rare, but it's difficult. I think our guys knew that. There was a lot that we put in. It's an invested group. It's a senior heavy group. It's a difficult game back and forth. And, when it comes down to the last play, it can either go really well or it really doesn't. And, those are the things that hurt the most. But if you didn't invest a lot into the process, into your teammates, into the relationships, it doesn't hurt as much. I can sit here and go, you know what, I'm going to coach this week and we got next year and I'm going to keep coaching. But if you invest a lot, you got 24 seniors that this, I don't want to say this is it, but this is their senior season. This is what they want to make the most of it. And you want to win those games and you hurt for those guys because you know that their ride is almost done. It's winding down.
So we're following the game Saturday night in Brookings, and I think I was right when McHale had the kickoff return touchdown. You go up 35-31. First, take me through that because they just score, and then you grab the momentum right back with a special teams touchdown.
It was huge. It's been a back and forth game, and we felt if we could just get some traction and get to a point where we had a lead, we were going to be okay, and we had battled back the entire second half. The special teams was huge because it was so many people doing such a great job and then celebrating it together. It was one of those things that give you goosebumps on the field as a coach. And you take a step back in the moment, and we've changed how we've practiced. And a lot of it in special teams has been a change in and how we're drilling and repping things. And as it unfolded in front of me, I went, this is exactly like how the drills we've been doing day after day have been playing out. Like, thank goodness this is working. And so it was a big moment. We captured some momentum. We had it for a while. And I remember in the middle of the fourth quarter, if we had scored, I talked to the offense, said, we're doing a great job right now, but the job's not quite done. We just got to get a little bit more. And, at the end of the day, we just weren't able to get a little bit more to get it done in regulation.
Steve, we're watching the 2-point play. Take us through the decision in overtime that obviously Northern got the ball first, and you could take us through for after that.
Yeah, you want to go second, so you know what you need. We had talked about it while they were out there that our decision was if they score and we scored touchdowns, we're going for 2. And that's how it was going to be. We felt like you go to the second overtime. Now you got to go first on offense. You really only get 3 downs to play with, and then you might have to kick the field goal depending on it's a difficult decision. You go for it and don't get it. They kick a field goal, it's walk off, it's over. So you're only playing 3 downs. They're playing with 4 downs the entire time. And we had struggled to stop them, so now they're playing with more downs. Let's say we both do score. It comes down to our 2-point conversion or their 2-point conversion. Well, why would we give them extra opportunities? Let's go and let's make it a one-play game. We felt like we had a good play. It was there. The kid made a great play. He stepped back. He got his hand right into the throwing lane. Yeah. If that arm is 6 inches one way or another, or the ball's 6 inches left, right, or higher, we catch that, and we're talking about what a great game it was, and way to go for 2, and the grittiness of our team, and the resiliency, and how excited we are. And it just didn't happen in a one play, and that's football, that's sports, that's life. I think the real test is then how do you handle it and you get back up off the mat and keep doing what you're doing.
Tuesday morning quarterback question. Do you regret that at all, or do you do it over again if you had it presented to you?
I would do it again. I didn't second guess that at all. The decision to go for 2, not at all. Felt good about the play. Maybe in hindsight, you're like, well, maybe there was a different play that maybe would have given us other options, but I'm going, but we had them open.
Yeah. The
ball travels through a finite line, and there just happened to be a hand that got in between that line. There wasn't a guy covering them. There was a hand got in there. And, that happens. We'll take it.
Jack Strand had a...
On that note, I talked to the team about on Monday morning. I said, whether it's the right call, wrong call, whatever, I don't second guess it. We went with it.
Yeah.
But I said, I want you guys to take out of this is when you get to life, go for 2. Don't just continue on to the second overtime and do what we've been doing over and over and just live this okay life and see what happens. Go for 2, take a risk. If it doesn't work, you guys are all resilient enough to get back up off the mat and go make life happen. And if it does work for the better, you're going to thank yourself that you know what, you were willing to go for 2. And so I hope someday in life when they get to that point, they maybe remember the game and they don't maybe remember the fondness of the game, but you remember, you know what, I'm going to go for 2 right now in life and I'm going to make something happen.
It's well said. I appreciate you adding that in there. Strand had a little bit with his legs. Was that necessary because of how the game played out, or was that you designed run call? He had 2 rushing touchdowns go on top of his 3 passing touchdowns.
It's kind of crazy, but I think he's kind of found here in the last few weeks that he can run the football. And so that opens up its own can of worms of, okay, we've got to keep him healthy. We've got to be able to do these things. But he did a great job. He was gritty. He knew there's ways, we got to find ways to score. And if we get down in there and they're gonna take away the run and they're gonna leave him open to run the football, hey, he's got to be able to do that. And he ran. He was physical. He was even some of the handoffs. He's kind of running downfield. He got one on short yardage and he's pushing the pile. Like, he is a gritty competitor that wants to win. He's a tough kid, and you know what? He kind of took that up on his shoulders to kind of go make some plays. And usually it's with his arms, but this time it was with his legs.
Tell me about practice yesterday. How was it with the guys? Did they have the memory just wiped, or how did you see it out there yesterday?
Well, I think practice was okay. We practiced in the afternoon. We had our team meeting in the morning like we normally do, and we talked about some of the life lessons that we take from this. And a lot of people talk about finishing the game, and we've talked about finishing in our program. We talk a lot about finishing +2, not just to the line, but through the line. You finish with the flurry, and obviously we didn't finish the game, and that's its own message. But what I talked to him about is, if you're in a workout or in a game, let's say a workout, it's easy to finish at the end. You might be worn out, but you're like, hey, this is the last set. I can run really hard, or I'll put a little bit of extra weight on. But in life, the hard thing is to start. And let's get started. And I said, that's our challenge this week. Can we get up off the mat? We got gutted. but now can we be a +2 program from the beginning, not the end? And so I think we got some perspective in the morning. We came out in the afternoon. We had a solid practice. We've talked forever about every Monday should look the same, win or lose. It doesn't matter. And so by the time we got out to practice, it felt like the same day that it had. We're battling the wind and the rain out there, practicing and doing it together, and it was just like every other Monday.
All right, it's back home, a rivalry game. It's Bemidji State, whose season has been a roller coaster of sorts for them. What do you anticipate when you get to see BSU come to town on Saturday?
Well, I think going to be a heck of a game. Over the years, there's been plenty of times that we have not had a very good record, and we've been in there, and we've been able to make a game out of it, and they're playing really good football. They've won their last 3. They made a quarterback change. They've adjusted some things schematically, and they're starting to kind of really get their feet under them. If you look at it, they probably should have won 3 of the 5 games that they've lost. So they're not that far from being a really, really good record as a football team. And so the challenge is for us, we haven't won this game in quite a while. Let's get up. These seniors haven't had a chance to grab that axe after the game and have that celebration. And so you know what? This is the moment that we have. We train all year for 11 Saturdays that you get guaranteed. Here's one of them. Let's go out, let's attack it, and let's try and make it at the end of that Saturday a day that we're going to remember.
You have Gage Florence sitting where he's at 16 receptions away, which is normal game for him. You've got 2 home games to go. Is that – I know you're worried about the football game, but it's got to be in the back of your mind that, hey, he's pretty darn close to an all-time record.
I know that he's getting close. I didn't know until yesterday it was 16. At the end of the day, one of the things I thought about was we've never designed things specifically just to get the ball to him, to pad the stats, to make the numbers. We just play the game. Yep. And however it plays out, it plays out. And I think that's important. And we'll continue to do that. And he'll continue to work hard and find and make opportunities. And if it happens, it happens. I know, obviously, we want him to get that. We want to see that success for him. But at the end of the day, we're trying to succeed as a team. And if that means someone's going to double cover him for 3 weeks in a row and he's not going to be able to get a catch, you know what? That is what it is. That's life. That's how it plays out. But we're gonna do what we can to win the next 3 games this season.
When you have this in front of you, knowing you got 3 games left, we're going to make the best we can out of it. Just now, it's hard because November's here. And I know your old coach, Craig Bull, he always tell me, hey, you remember November. Just what is it different about when the calendar turns to this last month of the year?
Well, I think you can see the end, right? And so whether it's the end that means playoffs and that's good, or the end that it's a finite end, I think everybody, if you equate football and life a lot, if you can, you're like, hey, when you get to the end of life, things become a lot more meaningful. You step back. It's really important. What do I really appreciate? What do I want to be remembered for? And I think there's that mini version of life that we go through as a football program. That's happening, especially for these seniors in these last 3 weeks. They're like, okay, what is important? What do I want to appreciate? What lasting value do I want to make sure that I've left behind if I haven't? What are the moments that I want to soak in? And if I think they can do a good job with that, then as they go the rest of their life, they're going to do a great job living life. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do, right? 99.9% of our guys are not going to the NFL over the years. Hopefully we got some of them that are going to get a shot, and that's great, but they're still going to go after life.
Now, is a tradition in this game where people jump in the lake in Bemidji? Can you do what would you do here? I know you have the axe. What kind of tradition would you have here if you guys win Saturday?
Well, I think their tradition is after homecoming wins, they jump in the lake. The axe, I think some of the traditions the guys over the years have mustaches. They've grown them out for a few weeks and then they shave and leave them. And then, I think after the game, I think they'll shave them off.
Can you do that? When's the last time you had facial hair? Well, that's the question.
I had facial hair for about a week after I was done being a college football player in 2001. And Coach Babbage did not allow facial hair below the upper lip, and he got mad at me enough over the years. I wasn't ever going to risk it, so I've been clean shaven, except for that 1 week, clean shaven every single day. And he used to say, if you don't shave, you look like a bum. And I tell you, it stuck with me. I feel like if I go a day on vacation and I haven't shaved, I'm like, man, I feel like a bum here. And so maybe I am. I don't know. And so that's why I went with the short hair.
Got it.
I had longer hair my freshman year. I walked into a meeting at 7 or 6 a.m. and my hair was disheveled. I took my hat off and he ripped me a new one that wasn't appropriate to come to meetings. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to deal with this. So I shaved my hair.
Wow, that's
Got
it.
mad at me for wearing my hat when I shouldn't have had it in the dining center. So I'm like, I'm not going to wear hats anymore. So I've he's molded me in a good way, and I kid a little bit. But he was an unbelievably great influence for me as a young coach, as a player. He kind of mentored me in a lot of ways, speaking in front of the team, play design, gave me a first opportunity as being a graduate assistant. He was nothing but great for me.
All right, we got to go, but the calendar is telling me that Friday is Halloween, and you're home this week. So are you going to be at the door on Friday night because you got a game Saturday? What's the plan?
Well, it works out perfect because Friday night we have our walkthrough and team meeting. Yes. So I'm going to have to go to work, and I got to make sure I'm there with the guys. And so, you know what? If the lights are on our house, great. But I'm thinking that I got to bring the kids with to walk through. They got to make sure that they're paying attention out there. We flipped the lights off at the Laqua residence, and okay. So it couldn't happen at a better time.
You know what? I thought of that too for you. Like, well, you know, he's normally busy on Friday night, so he can't be there to open the door or anything. And
might be the best Halloween in about the last decade for me, to be honest.
Oh man! All right, great stuff as always, bud. Thanks for the time. Good luck on Saturday. We'll talk next week. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
There you go. Steve Laqua joining us. Dragons have a matchup with Bemidji State, the Battle for the Axe, coming up on Saturday. Then they have their final home game with Jamestown after that and wrap the season with Mankato. Mankato got beat by Wayne State. And granted, the Dragons lost to Wayne earlier, which tells you how good of a team they are this season. So we'll see. Dragons are 5-3 with 3 games to go. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up. Get you ready. We got a good Sports Tuesday on tap. Hopefully not 18 innings of baseball tonight. We'll get you ready for that when Hot Mike wraps after this. All right, wrapping things up here on this Tuesday morning. Tomorrow we'll start our high school football previews for the week. Fergus Falls head coach Chris Grabowska will join us. The Otters getting ready for the Section 8 4A championship game coming up on Friday night. He'll join us. Fergus is unbeaten, one of many teams in our area that had a dynamite year on the Minnesota side of things. So we'll have him join us tomorrow. We'll also have our Bison Media Zone show tomorrow to get us ready for the Bison and Youngstown State coming up on Saturday. Let's get a few more emails in. Going back to our big topic on Carson Wentz's season-ending injury. Dom, the most frustrating thing about his injury is that he chose to take on 2 defenders head-on rather than slide. It's one of many rookie mistakes he continues to make. I couldn't agree more. Talked about it when he signed with Minnesota, that he was able to do that in 2016. He was able to do that in 2017 to an extent. Then the ACL tear happened. He's just not the same guy anymore. And you saw it. We had 2 great replays of that hit he had against the Browns. That is a pop. And Jonathan Vilma, I think, was calling the game with Kenny Albert on the NFL Network. And I went back. I watched it again this morning, and you can audibly hear Vilma say, "Ooh," after Wentz got hit. Like, that was a different kind of hit. And clearly it was, because it broke his shoulder. Dom, I've never been a big fan of Carson Wentz, but I gained a whole new respect for him over the last few weeks. I suffered a similar injury years ago, and I don't know how he could play with the pain. At the same time, my opinion of KOC has dropped significantly. I will give him a chance to explain why he left Carson in the game, but I doubt the excuses will satisfy me. Also, I hear people talk about how Wentz sucks. Doesn't matter who is a quarterback with that O-line, their health is in danger. Yeah, that's all I want to know is from KOC tomorrow, and I agree with the email. I don't think anything I'm going to hear is going to justify why he stayed in the game. That just... with a broken shoulder, separated shoulder socket, torn labrum, that's tough. Another email. Dom, here's what you could do for 6.5 hours if you chose. That's how long the baseball game was. You could drive to Thunder Bay, Ontario. You go to the Dells. I know Eric would love that. 6.5 hours away, apparently. You could make it to Des Moines if you wanted. Apparently... go to Omaha apparently as well. So can you make it all the way to Rapid? I don't think so. I think Rapid's like 8, I thought. For our viewers there, they could probably correct me if I'm wrong. But you could have done that. Instead of watching the 6-hour and 39-minute baseball game, you could do all of those things. And apparently you could watch The Godfather 2, I think, twice. It's a long movie. It's a great movie. I don't know if you get both in 2 viewings, but that's what you could try and fit in. Hopefully we don't have 18 innings tonight. Here's some what to watch to get us ready for it. What to Watch is brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. We got our final game of the week tonight for volleyball. We've got Shanley and Cheyenne meeting with the state volleyball tournament just a few weeks away. That's at 7 o'clock tonight here on WDAY Extra. Also, we mentioned it's Game 4, Blue Jays-Dodgers, 7 o'clock on Fox. Ohtani will start on the mound for L.A. tonight. The Minnesota Wild, can they win a game? They've lost 3 in a row. They got the Winnipeg Jets tonight. All 32 NHL teams are playing tonight. It's a frozen frenzy, I believe they're describing it as. 7 o'clock on FanDuel Sports North. And we got Conference Sunbelt football tonight. James Madison and Texas State, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Our thanks to Mike McFeely, to Dave Richman, and Steve Laqua. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Thanks so much for spending part of your morning with us. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.